Hey everyone, just so you know, these Diesel 10 videos were previously on my old channel, 0 the 10th Doctor 0. Obviously I've started my new channel now, so I'm consolidating all of those videos onto here. So yeah, just so you know that I haven't stolen these videos from somebody else, they have actually been taken from my old channel. If you go to my old channel, there is actually a video already on there saying that I'm updating to this new channel. So yeah, just wanted to make this little disclaimer at the start of the video, just so there's no confusion and there's no accusations of me stealing anything. So yeah, hope you enjoy this video, and there's a link in the description at the bottom for the latest construction of this model, but there's also a playlist of all the videos for this. So yeah, enjoy guys.
Hello, this is the 10th Doctor here. I may have mentioned in my previous videos, and if I haven't then I'm mentioning it now, but I was going to make a N-gauge Diesel 10 to go with the Thomas Tomix range. This I have done, as you can see here, and this is a video to take you through how I've made it. So firstly, this is the model that I've taken the face from. I tried to sculpt the face in N-gauge and it was just too small. I just physically couldn't do it. So I tried to decide what model would be best to take the face from. Now, since the new range of Diesel 10 with the new CGI engines, I haven't really liked his face, to be honest. I always liked it as it was in the Magic Railway, the proper classic Diesel 10 face. And the new Wooden Railway versions, it just doesn't look right. Whereas the original Brio, not the Wooden Railway as it's known now, I think it's not just known as Wooden Railway, the original Brio versions has the proper facial sculpting on it, the proper Diesel 10 facial sculpt. So this is where I've taken this face from. Now, as you can see in this next picture, I have managed to completely dismantle the engine itself. It's literally all just screwed in, and the face, it just slots into the front quite neatly. To avoid damaging the front of it, I managed to just gently get a flat screwdriver underneath the bottom of his face and just gently prise it away from the body. You don't really need to keep all the other bits because the face is literally the only bit of this model that I need to do. So this is the next, or I should say the first stage of the body building. Now, to draw this out, I literally drew this freehand once I'd drawn it in the boxes. The entire body is modelled around the face and is done to be slightly larger than the Tomix Thomas. Unfortunately, didn't make a note of any of the measurements, so I really can't give them onto this video because I don't know what they are. Or at least I don't know what they are as it was drawn on a flat page. But this is where I first started, was literally just drawing it from around the face. The entire width of his face is the entire width of the front of him, so it gives you an idea of how to do it. And then to do the top of his cab from the bottom of his face was quite easy because, again, you get the idea of perspective into, you look at a normal warship diesel and it gives you an idea of exactly how far between the top of his face and the top of his cab would be. This is the next drawing with a few more details added onto it, such as the vents, the windows, the stripes on his body, and on the next photo, as we can see, I have drawn all of the stripes on there and all the details is in. The number of stripes differs on each side because as I was drawing them I didn't make a note of how many I'd put on, but once the model's actually finished you don't actually really notice the difference between the two, and if you're doing this yourself you can change this to how you want it. Now, this is the body cut out. Originally, I had the windows cut out and I was going to put them in as perspex instead. However, this didn't work as it really weakened the model around the windows, so I ended up taking this out. The front parts and the back parts, or I should say the front and back where his face are supposed to be, I decided it would be better and more structural if I took these off and stuck them on later in the form of a net. I've also added a couple of strengtheners inside, and you can see how this has added up in the next picture where they now have the additions of the windows on the front and back. They do look quite square, I will admit to that, but once the model's actually finished and everything's all together, it doesn't actually really take too much away from the model, especially as Pinch is hanging over the front of his cab. In this next picture you can see how I've done the underside. Now, to do this I have used a Tomix Henry coach. You can either use the one that comes with Henry, or as I've done here you can buy a separate one. I have taken off the body and all I've done here is I've literally cut out the middle part of it and stuck the two ends on, keeping the buffers because I managed to use those for the Diesel 10 model itself. And this is a close-up of where you can see it. The two little, or I should say the four little overlaps on each side are literally where I've just cut away the structural supports on each side, so they overlap onto the card base, which just adds a little bit more strength to it as well. Now this is a close-up of the Tomix model I've used just to specify, where I've literally just taken the top of the body off, and you can see I've left the bogie wheels intact. And here is Diesel 10 unpainted, without pinchy, but proof that he does fit on an N-gauge line. I just want to point out this is an N-gauge line. This was an experiment I did to make a railway look like 009 scale. So while this does look like narrow gauge track, it is in fact N-gauge track. Now this is just another close-up of Diesel 10 from another angle, just so you can see the detail he's got on him. Now here we are, the first stage of the painting. I've just simply again used acrylic paint to do this. You don't have to worry about overlapping too much into the window areas and the vent areas, as these will be painted over later on in their appropriate colours, as you can see here. Now this is the painted version of Diesel 10. As you can see, he looks quite good. You can still see what I mean about the cab looking slightly too high, but once pinchy is added, you really won't notice the difference. And here he is from another angle, just to give you an idea of what it is. You can also see in this angle where I've painted his buffer beam red, just to again make it look as correct as possible. And now this was now this was an idea. I just wanted to get an idea of what it would look like with pinchy on it, and I don't quite know why, but for some reason I actually thought it looked quite good just like this. Now it really doesn't. I don't know why I'm saying it does. There's just something in me thinks it looks good, but I think the reason I said it looks good is it gives you an idea, a good idea of exactly what pinchy will look like. And this is the basis that I've managed to use pinchy from, minus the magnet and the openness of pinchy's jaws. It gives you an idea of the exact sort of perspective and size that pinchy should be. Now just to compare model sizes, this is the Tomix Thomas next to him, and you can see that I have made him slightly larger. So it does give the idea of how Diesel 10 looks compared to Thomas in the series. Here's just another picture of Thomas against Diesel 10. So again, it's just more ideas of perspective. Okay, scary face. No, not really. This is the Diesel 10 pinchy net as I have made it. And this just gives you an idea of how I've put it together, how it looks when it's flat. And on the next picture, as you can see, this is where I've cut out gently and very, very carefully all of the sections of Diesel 10's pinchy that need to be hollow. And there is pinchy all together as one piece. Now on this next part of the model, as you can see, I've added on the support struts for pinchy on top, and also the swivel bit of the pinchy arm. This doesn't actually swivel, it doesn't really do anything like that. It literally is made as a static model. And here you can see it again just in a bit more detail from the top. Here is the unpainted but built pinchy. To really get the arm right, I had to cut a tiny little sliver into each matchstick and then gently slot the card into it and then glue it shut. As you can also see, I've also added the hydraulics box on the side of pinchy as well. Here he is, finished and painted, as you saw him at the beginning of the video. But this part of the video just takes you through a few shots of him and also more comparisons of him against the Thomas Tomix, and also a comparison against his 00 gauge self. Now, I would just like to point out that I'm aware that the proper version of Diesel 10 doesn't have the two separate vents in the middle. I have actually rectified this recently on my 00 gauge model, and the video of that will be going up soon. But this really is the end of the video, as I have now finished the model. I would just like to state at the end of this video that, as with my other model, and despite the fact that I still get requests from people, this model isn't for sale for any amount of money. I'm not prepared to recreate it for anyone else. The whole point of these videos was so you could see how I'd constructed mine and do it for yourself. I hope this has been informative for you. I will soon be up with more videos, and I hope your model building goes well. Goodbye.